You simply cannot ignore what is going on right now, people. The year that crypto legislation eventually takes place on a broad scale is 2025. We must discuss the game-changing, unambiguous laws that govern the whole cryptocurrency sector. The crazy part comes next. This year, the entire movement suddenly gained a lot of attention. As soon as this new regime entered, cryptocurrency began to take center stage. Here's what's incredible though. We are discussing intelligent regulation that fosters innovation rather than stifles it. Powerhouse businesses like Ripple are now finally receiving the go-ahead to soar and achieve previously unheard of heights. Returning to this piece from August, the SEC is intent on developing unambiguous crypto regulations in the wake of the significant Ripple case. Adkins deserves praise for deconstructing this. Indeed, we have already discussed this, haven't we? As if we were dissecting the entire situation. Take a look at this. Commissioner Pierce is blatantly stating the facts. Let's put all that energy from those never-ending policy discussions to better use now that we've permanently closed this chapter. Next, where should we aim our laser? Establishing a strict regulatory framework that protects all investors while fostering innovation. Let's talk about Project Crypto. Companies like Ripple have been playing this game on expert mode for ages, and that's what I'm really focusing on with regard to crypto rules. Really, for years and years, these guys have been devoted to public policy. From the beginning, they sincerely intended to follow the regulations. I take it that they were pleading with regulators. This is where things get insane though. No one would allow them to do so. Look now, I've been riding this crypto wave with some of you for a long time, but I'm also meeting a lot of new people, and it's really awesome. Rewinding to 2020 and before, FaceTime with the SEC was actually rather feasible. You could actually schedule a meeting with these people, but businesses like Ripple would show up with nothing but bad intentions. They would receive nothing at all from the SEC. There was no instruction on how to obey the regulations, and the story twist was undeveloped. What would the SEC do with all of the information that these corporations voluntarily disclosed? They would turn it on its head and use it against them like ammunition. It was essentially a shakedown operation reminiscent of a mob film. Do you understand what I mean? They would seize that information, completely destroy these businesses, and then make the most powerful move possible. You want to continue running your business, it's time to make the payment. Prior to 2025, that was the SEC's playbook. Feelings of pure extortion. However, this is the storyline twist that has me giddy with anticipation. Complete 180 factorial today. And for a few moments, may we simply commend Ripple. Like that friend who never stops messaging you back, these titans never gave up and continued to knock on the SEC's door. Finally, we are witnessing the real-time development of this underdog tale. But hold on to your hats, because this framework for a market structure bill that is about to be released is what's truly blowing my head at the moment. Okay folks, this is the reason we are so enamored with it. We are discussing complete transparency for cryptocurrency. This measure has the potential to dramatically transform the cryptocurrency industry in ways that have never been seen before. We are discussing adoption at the enterprise level, the influx of institutional capital, and eventually the widespread retail adoption that we have all been anticipating. This serves as our actual roadmap to get there. This framework must be locked and loaded immediately. And you know what? I'm giving you the full rundown on what this market structure law actually accomplishes for us in this breakdown today. What is the reason behind our craze with this legislation? Pay attention, the US financial markets are essentially the benchmark, the Victor and the Michael Jordan of international markets. We are discussing see-through openness, ironclad infrastructure and efficiency that makes other nations envious. These markets have been America's secret weapon for decades, creating the next major breakthroughs, generating economic growth like a money-printing machine, and transforming ordinary people into millionaires one by one. The problem with our markets is this. They are based on the incredibly astute notion that your actions dictate which regulations you must abide by. Quite simple, isn't it? And what do you know? Through wave after wave of technological advancement, this strategy has been utterly dominating US markets. We're discussing everything from the early days of electronic trading to the introduction of those incredibly intricate derivatives. Here's the crazy part. The amazing growth that is currently taking place in these areas would not be possible without the regulatory framework that we currently have in place. It literally serves as the basis for all of this growth. Okay, let's discuss laws pertaining to the structure of the cryptocurrency market. Guys, this is really big. Truly, this is the golden key we've been looking for, one that will allow trillions of dollars to pour into this area. Real tokenization is what we are discussing. The widespread adoption of public blockchains that we have all been hoping for is finally happening. The problem is that without appropriate legislation, none of this magic can occur. Let's examine this market structure bill in more detail, and I'll highlight some of the main ideas for you. It will, first and foremost, fill in those annoying regulatory gaps. For consumers and organizations that deal with digital assets, this legislation will be like turning on the lights in a dark room. No more fumbling about trying to figure out what's acceptable. Finally, we are bringing these digital asset platforms into the formal framework and removing them from the regulatory Wild West. Here's what I adore best though. Playing defense against dangers isn't enough. In reality, it's welcoming all of the incredible opportunities that digital assets are generating. And now for the lovely part. Market efficiency will increase as a result of this. We're talking about assigning each player in the game a role that is incredibly obvious and predictable. No more speculating. We'll use the same rules to address the same dangers. People who are consistently excellent. But hold on, things will improve. While we firmly prevent malicious actors from infiltrating our system, your financial privacy remains secure. Additionally, investors and customers are fully protected by robust oversight that will thoroughly destroy any dubious behavior, including fraud and corruption. Look, this is exactly why we're supporting this campaign with all of our might, and I can't emphasize this enough. This is the information that everyone is currently desperate to know. What is the current status of this market structure law? Do you have any new information for us? Alright, pay attention. You'll see that we do in fact have a legitimate timeline for this entire affair after you reach the finish screen. Check it out now. We have some breaking information from the GOP in the financial services industry that goes back to September 8th, when the Clarity Act essentially eliminated all of the necessary instruments to establish a government framework for the development of the digital asset market. Take a look. For America to remain at the forefront of digital finance, it is imperative that the Senate complete this law. The Financial Services GOP took notice of Tom Emmer's article from the 7th, which essentially said that the Senate should take the initiative and adopt the Clarity Act to finalize America's pro-crypto future. Additionally, Monica Long just had a very important meeting. Blockchain is essentially the currency of the future, but you know it's like having a Ferrari stuck in traffic. It is attempting to integrate with all of these antiquated banking systems. The largest roadblock is the legal red tape in America, which is also known as the hub of global money magic. This is where things get juicy though. The best possible explosion is going to occur. Clarity is making waves, the Genius Act is being implemented, and the Responsible Financial Innovation Act is currently stirring up something amazing in the Senate. Believe me, finally the revolution is being approved. It truly amazes me that these legislators are contacting us and genuinely interested in learning about what we're creating and how it functions in the real world. Regulations aren't being thrown at us mindlessly. They are dedicated to creating intelligent laws that protect consumers and allow for innovation and adaptation as circumstances change. You deserve a lot of praise for leading the RFIA work. At the moment, that leadership is crucial. Did you notice that too? During today's roundtable in Washington, D.C., she actually called out all of the participants. Whoa, and you know what? In fact, she was present at this roundtable. We'll go into more detail about this in a moment, but I must say that I'm thrilled to see the structure of the cryptocurrency market finally being codified into law with bipartisan